God damn it. Ow. Man, hose clamps are a pain in the ass. You gotta go to the dark web in order to find like the real DIY fountain making stuff. Now what you want to do is you want to take the screw here and then you want to screw it down so that it's tight. You want to screw it down so it's tight. And this is a very important step in the process. And I know it might be easy to overlook, but you don't want to overlook this part. You don't want to overlook this part because, like I said, when my accent's horrible, but when you're outside in the middle of summer, when you get like just those few 2 weeks and you throw on a dinner party and your fountain pump just suddenly gives out, you're gonna be kicking yourself that you didn't use hose clamps and you used those stupid dollar store zip ties instead. Make sure that you use like real quality hose clamps. As for me, I got mine from Ace Hardware. But Ace Hardware also, they're independently owned. I think it's a franchise type of thing. So you want to get your hose clamps, and sometimes it takes like 5 hours to screw it so that it's tight on the hose that you chose. I'm a poet. Sometimes it takes 5 hours. But you know what? And then when your wife is yelling at you because she took a shower and she put on her fancy lingerie, but you're still screwing that hose clamp, she's going to get mad and you're going to get a divorce because you're too busy screwing the hose clamp and you're not screwing your wife. It's just, but you know what? This is important. It's important because eventually you meet your second wife and then you're having the backyard party and then, like I said, the hose clamp comes into play and you're going to lose your second wife if you just use the zip ties from the dollar store. And we're not going to get into whether you would have kept your first wife if you would have stuck with the zip ties, because then that's just way too... talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson about that one, about the multiple parallel universes. But, because it does tend to take a while and it's a boring task. So here's what you do. Okay, so we're getting close here on this hose clamp. I have definitely, down at the Radisson a couple years ago, man, I had a whole conference hall full of people leave. I mean, hose clamps are extremely important. Your car wouldn't work without the hose clamps. But you know what? They all worked out. And I had to foot the bill of all the melon balls and the croissants and the free coffee. I had to foot the bill for that. They all fucking left the Radisson. They left the fucking Radisson. Hose clamp. One of these days, they will come back and they'll be like, we wish we would have listened to you about the fudging hose clamps. We should have listened to you. And now we don't know how to use hose clamps and we don't know when to use hose clamps or where. And now all of our things, our cars, our houses, our fountains are falling apart. I mean, like, that's what's going to happen to them. And then they're going to be calling me and they're going to be sorry that they didn't listen to me the first time. Okay, so here we are with hose clamp number 2. And what you want to do is you want to put that on the hose before you attach them together, because if you try to attach them together, then you're going to try some Star Trek stuff where, you're trying to move matter between matter, and that's not going to work. So I'm going to squeeze this little hose clamp, or the hose itself, onto the adapter. Okay, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's snug in there and that it's tight, like to the point where you think you don't need the hose clamp, and to the point where you think that you're going to be the guy who's going to walk out of the Radisson. You think you don't need the hose clamp. You're going to be dead wrong about that, man. When the rubber hits the road, you're going to be, you're going to be, sorry about that. Trying to screw the hose onto the adapter. But I do have a lot of stories about, the rats I came across. I came across one last night, as a matter of fact. This little guy, I was looking off in the distance, and this little guy I thought there was a little cat running by me, a little kitten. And, but it was a lot pointier than a kitten, and it had a big long stick trailing behind it. That's a rat. That's a rat. And so, that was quite a debacle. Here's a thing that I might have to fix. Maybe not tonight because I need to go get some bread and butter. But right now, I got You know what? I'm gonna try a little bit longer. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about. Let's see. What do you guys want to hear about? Okay. You know what? This is a good lesson for you. I got the hose clamp here on my hose and the adapter, and the hose is not the perfect hose. So the hose clamp is not going to do its job as well as it would like to. But I'm going to do this, and this is going to be my temporary fix until tomorrow, and then I'll show you all how to cut a hose properly so that it's not uneven, and so you've got an even amount of hose going on onto the adapter so that you don't have little small leaks. And you know what? In hindsight, I should have gotten a wider flathead screwdriver. That might be part of my problem, because it's a very narrow, and you can see with the hose clamp, it needs a wide screwdriver. In fact, as wide as you want to get it. You could get a huge industrial size, and you'd probably have better luck than I'm having. But see, the thing is, though, you guys are lucking out by learning from my mistakes. Well, you can see why a very narrow flathead screwdriver is not ideal for your hose clamp situation. Using the appropriately sized screwdriver for the job that you're working with. You don't want to use too narrow of a screwdriver on a hose clamp, because you're going to be sitting here all night, I tell you what, and then you've already lost, the third wife. Jeez. Because you're too busy screwing your hose clamp. She's screwing, the milkman. I need to go get some bread and butter for my pesto ravioli dinner tonight, where I'm entertaining guests. But the last time that I did that and did one of these videos, funny how that happened. I came to, still screwing in that hose clamp. I was 7 a.m. and they had already left, about 9 hours before that. And I didn't even realize. Go figure. That was a funny practical joke they played on me. I did hear later that the dinner was really delicious. Well, man, like I said before, they're gonna find out one of these days that they're not gonna screw in their hose clamps properly, and they're gonna be on the side of the road. It's gonna be leaking a little bit, slightly overheat. And then they're going to call me, or they're going to drive to the nearest gas station, and then they're going to call me and they'll say, well, shoot, I should have tightened it tighter the first time, and now I had to go to a gas station and tighten it a little bit more. And so then I'm going to laugh and laugh and laugh. Funny.
Are we ever going to eat?
I'm hose clamping. See, nobody understands the importance of hose clamping. Okay, all right. So here we go, and now what we have here. You want beer? You want beer? Okay. So what I got here is my adapter of the half-inch hose to the inch hose. I think it's an inch. I was paying too much attention to hose clamps. Have I told you I like to screw hose clamps? Yes, I do. I like to screw hose clamps. So let's see if this works, okay? Okay, well, this has been a special episode of This Old Fountain.